Welcome all. Today we're talking about the line of sine, the law of sine and the law of cosine. So there is not a lot in here as far as new. There's two new things, but they're very dense. The information is heavy. So let's kind of get started into it. So let's talk about law of sine. So there's a statement right there, but the law of sine is used to find a missing side or a missing angle. Now, law of sine is, in a way, a proportion. Now, you don't use all three proportions at a time, but you use these proportions depending on the size. So here, as we say, sine of big A over little a, big B over little b, big C over little c. That kind of conjoins with this. So here, we're saying that angle C is the big C, little c is the side. So when we will always know two of the three angles. So this kind of goes back to angle, side, angle. If you have two angles in a side or an angle, a side, and an angle, then you'll probably use the law of sine. So when we match these up, so if we know this angle A is to side A, angle B up here to side B, and angle C to side C. So it's actually kind of try them out. It makes more sense as we use it. So on this problem right here, we know this angle right here, this angle right here, and this side right here. So we're calling this angle A. This will represent side A, little a. This is angle B. This represents little b. This is angle C. This little c. Now you have two angles and we're in one side and we're looking for the side. So since these are the angles we have, angle A and angle B, we're going to use just these two. Like I said, we're not going to use all three of them at one time. So we set a proportion like it is right here. So here we'll say, hey, sine of angle 78 equals, sine of angle 78 over its opposite side, 8. That is equal to sine of 60 over its opposite side, x, what we're looking for right here. Oh.
No replacement questions were used. After a buzzer check, you may begin round 5.
Scholar ball going on right now, y'all, so excuse that. Might happen one more time. All right, so we're going to then cross multiply right here. After we do those, this times this gives us just x times sine of 78. You can't actually multiply it yet. And then we multiply these two, cross multiply, we end up getting 8 times sine of 60. All right, so just like every single problem we've done before, we got to find our unknown. We're solving for x. So to do so, to solve for x here, we got to get x by itself. And to do that, we're going to divide both sides by the sine of 78. Okay, so as we do that, that means the value of x is equal to whatever 8 times sine of 60 over sine of 78. Now, if you have a calculator, which you'll need one because come test time, which is coming up soon, you will need to use an actual calculator, not your cell phone. So if you have an actual calculator, you'll plug it in just like that. So you say 8 times the sine of 60. And if you hit enter, okay, you get a number. And then from there, you can then divide by the sine of 78. If you do that correctly, you should get the answer x equals 7.083. We rounded that to 3. All right. If you try to do this on your phone, you'll do it backwards. You'll do 60, then sine, then times 8. Hit enter, you get a number. And then you hit divided by, then you can do 78, sine, and then enter again, and you should get that. Let's try that one more time down here with this problem. So I'm going to clear this off. All right. So in the problem down below, this is our unknown. So we're looking for a side. So this is the angle opposite. So we'll use for sure this angle. We'll call this big A. So we'll call this little b. This side, we'll call this angle B, and we'll call this angle C. Okay. So that means this is little b, and this over here is little c. Now, we have this, so we'll for sure use that proportion, sine of 125 over x. So there's our angle and our unknown. We have our unknown right there. Now, here's the issue. If we try to use angle 24, that's fine, but we have no value for little c. Not only do we have no value for little c, there's no way to get this. There's no Pythagorean theorem. This is not a right triangle. So what we're going to have to find is find this angle B or angle R, because we do have this side right here. It's opposite. So to do so, we'll add those two values there, the 125 plus the 24, we get 149. Now remember, angle A plus angle B plus angle C in a triangle, all three angles of a triangle equal 180. So we take 180 minus the 149, you end up getting 31. So that means this value of this angle is 31. So this is the other angle we're going to use. And this is its opposite side. So that's the other proportion. So sine of 31 over 6.8. 6.8. So just like the last one, we're going to cross multiply. So x times sine of 31 is just x times sine of 31 equals 6.8 times sine of 125. So again, we don't want to multiply these as we go, because then we get decimal numbers, and then we'll round them, and then we'll divide by something else, and then round that. So if we just input all the information at the very end, then we'll be set. So then, just like before, to get x by itself, we're going to divide by this whole sine of 31. Divide this side by sine 31. So in your calculator, ultimately you should have x, or you won't have x equals, but this is what you can be put in the calculator. 6.8 times sine of 125 over sine of 31. So if you put this correctly in the calculator, I'm going to put that in mine. So 6.8 times sine of 125, and then divide by the sine of 31, you should get 10.815. 10.815. X, in this case, it's unknown side, equals 10.815. So that is the law of sine. It's just a proportion. Again, you won't do all three of them. You'll maybe do these two, or A and C, or B and C, some version of that. Now, let's look at the sine or the law of cosine. So law of cosine seems a little bit more complicated, because it has three different equations, and they're not as simple as the proportions. It seems like that, but it's all dependent on what side do we know and what angle do we know. So at all times, either we're going to be looking for a side or an angle. So if we have angle A and we're looking for side A, we'll use this one. But let's say we're looking for angle B, that's fine. If we're looking for angle B, we probably know side B, so we'll use this proportion. Or if we're looking for angle C or side C, you use this proportion. Understand, these two will always be opposite of each other. So if we're looking for angle C, we better have angle C over here by itself, or side C. But if we're looking for side B, then we better have cosine of angle B by itself. Let's try that out. So let's kind of look at this. So you kind of have to carry this along, because it's one of those problems, one of those things you won't memorize. So make sure you have it written down. But let's try it right here. So we have A, B, and C. So we have this angle C. That's good. And we're looking for side C. So that means already by default, we're going to be using this particular version of this problem. And we have, what else do we have? And that's it. So that's the only angle we need. We'll need one angle, because according to this theorem, you should always have two sides in an angle, or you'll have all three sides. And we'll practice the side over here in a bit. But let's look at this. So if we're going to use this proportion, this is side B, side C, this is little b, and this is little a. So we'll set a proportion C squared. So x squared equals a squared, which we're saying that's 4. 4 squared plus b squared, which is 7, minus, and that's the formula goes, it's minus 2 times a times b. So minus 2 times a times b times cosine of the angle 62. So let's simplify this. So x squared will stay as x squared. 4 squared will be 16. 7 squared will be 49. And then 7 times 4 is 28. And then times 2 gives us 56 cosine of 62. Now understand right here, this is 56 times cosine of 62. This is one big thing. So as we simplify this one more, there's a common mistake that happens. So we'll do that, x squared. We add those two. We get 65 minus 56 cosine of 62. The common mistake happens right here. We try to subtract that, and we cannot do that. Those two problems cannot subtract because it's like having 65 minus 56x. These are together. These are one thing, so they cannot subtract. So we have simplified this as far as we can go. So now we're going to actually put this in the calculator. So get out your calculator. You put 65 minus, and do 56 times cosine of 62. Close your parentheses, hit enter. You should get the answer 38.710. Now x, and that's again this x squared. X squared equals 38.7. I'm gonna carry a couple numbers because we'll see why. So 70959. I carried a couple numbers because I am not done with the problem. We still have that square. The last step we do now is to square root both sides. We square root this side and we square root this side. So if you have your calculator and you still have your answer right there as the last thing that came out, the 38, what you're going to do is you hit second, and then where the x squared at, above that in green or in whatever color the second button is the radical. So you're going to get that little radical. And then if you hit second and then down by the enter side, there's a little negative sign right above that says A and S. Hit that, and that what's going to do on your calculator is going to put our answer from above, which is the 38.70959,248, in there, and then it square roots that. Now, if you do round it, happen to do 387099 or 710, it'll give you a slightly different answer. But if you do this like on the calculator, you get roughly the answer 6.222. Let's see what happens if we round it. So we round that, and we ended up having the square root of 38.710 gives you 6.2217. So it's about the same when you round it. So this is what your answer should be roughly. Okay, so hopefully if you look at this, it's all based off what are we looking for and what do we know. We know this angle, we're looking for the sides, so we set it up like this. As long as those two are opposite each other in the problem, we are good right here. Let's try this one here when we have all sides. So on the problem right now, it's not specifically asking for just one angle. So let's pick an angle. Let's say we're doing angle P. Angle P, we'll call that X. And then, yeah, and then say we're looking for angle Y later, which is Q. Well, you can kind of treat P kind of like our A right here. So we can say, hey, this is A, this is B right here, and this is C. It doesn't matter which one we give it because what we're going to do is as long as we have an opposite side with the angle we're looking for, we are fine. So in this particular problem, if we're going to call this angle A, that means this is side A, this is B, this is little b, and if this is C, this is little c. So to find the value of X in this case, we're going to do this version of it. So our opposite side from angle A is side A right here. So we'll do 8 squared equals, then it's B squared, which we're calling that 7, plus C squared, which we're calling that 9, minus 2 times 7 times 9 times cosine of the angle we're looking for, the X right there. All right, so let's simplify that. So this is 64 equals, this is 49 plus 81 minus 7 times 9 is 63 times 2 is 126 cosine of angle X. We add those together, we get 64 equals 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 130 minus 126 cosine of X. Now we think, oh, what do we do from here? Can we subtract those? No, just like in sine, or the last one, you cannot subtract those. 130 minus 126 cosine. This doesn't have a cosine, you can subtract those. So what we're going to do, again, our goal is to get X by itself. We're going to start with this. We're going to subtract 130 from both sides. When doing so, you end up getting negative 66 equals negative 126 cosine of x. Again, to get x by itself, we gotta get cosine by itself. And to do so, we gotta then divide both sides by negative 126. Divide by negative 126. When you reduce that, so over here it cancels out, leaving me just, I'm gonna continue the problem here, cosine of x. On the other side, the negatives cross each other out, so you got positives, and 6 goes into both the problems. The top one gives you 11, and 6 goes into the bottom, you get 21. Now, at this point, what's the last, how do we get x by itself? Well, we got to get rid of the cosine, and the only way to do that is to multiply both sides by its inverse. That crosses this out, leaving me just the x. On this side, we have cosine to negative 1 of 11 over 21. This is what goes in your calculator. So take out your calculator. You hit second, then cosine. That brings up cosine to the negative 1 power. And that's where you enter 11 divided by 21. If you do that, you end up getting 58.411 or 412. That equals our x value right there. So that's the degree measures of that angle. Hopefully that helps you guys, especially you guys are gone. If you have any questions, ask me on Monday when we all get back. Have a great day.